Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce, hanging out in the house today because it's kind of cold and messy outside. But even though the surroundings here aren't that exciting, I trust that you'll be excited talking with me today about Mark chapter 12. This is one of those chapters where Jesus is rumbling with the Jewish leaders and they're testing him all kinds of ways. And fairly centrally in this chapter is where Jesus is asked what the first commandment of all is. And he explains that the first commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And this ends up really being the underpinning theme behind this chapter. We had seen it begin with him giving this parable about the vine dresser who had leased the vineyard, and each person that came representing him was either killed or beaten and run away, and eventually he sends his son and they kill him. And this is Jesus' parable talking about how God had entrusted Israel with the scriptures and to be the messengers of God's grace to the world, and they'd not done a good job and eventually would kill Jesus. Point is that they didn't love God the way they should, and so God would turn to the Gentiles. We see this question about whether they should pay taxes to Caesar, and Jesus makes the point that we should render unto Caesar which is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. The point that you need to catch in the midst of all of that is, since we are God's who believe in Jesus Christ, we need to render to him all of us. And there's such a beautiful illustration of that at the end of the chapter where Jesus is watching people tithing to the temple treasury, and the widow comes in and puts in her 2 mites, and Jesus makes the point that she gave more than everything else given, because instead of giving out of her abundance, she had given all that she had. And that's what Jesus is asking of us. He gave us everything. He gave his very life. He came from the glory of heaven and died a criminal's death to take your sin and mine upon himself. And in turn, he's saying, because I died and gave it all to you, will you live and give it all to me? We owe him nothing less. God bless you as you go.